Coming up on today's episode of DLLS Mavs, how are Luka and Kyrie in the best tandem duo rankings? Plus, what's your most hated rival of the Mavericks? All that and more on today's episode of DLLS Mavs. Here we go. Hey, what's up, DLLS Mavs Nation? It's your man, Kevin Gray, alongside Mavericks insider Tim Cato, Mavericks analyst Bobby Carella. We are DLLS Mavs. You can find me on X at Kevin Gray Sports, at Tim_Cato, at Bobby Carella. Your favorite guys covering your favorite team every single day in the Dallas Mavericks. A lot to get to on this Friday episode of DLLS Mavs. The best way you can help us grow here at DLLS Sports, like, comment, and subscribe to us here on YouTube. Hit that like button while you're in the chat today. Let us know who your most hated rival of the Dallas Mavericks is as we go through that later on in our show. We'll also have our preview of Jaden Hardy's upcoming season. Also, where do Luka and Kyrie fit in terms of the best tandems in the league today? But before we get to any of that, Tim, Bobby, what's going on?
It's Friday. We're here. We did it.
It's Friday the 13th. You excited about that?
I'm so ready to go.
You're ready to go?
Say, like, you walk under a ladder. We got a ladder in the lobby. Should I just go walk under that?
After the show. Do that after the show, please. Right. Tim, what's going on?
Nothing much.
How you feeling on this Friday?
I haven't walked under any ladders.
Okay, so far so good. So far so good.
Haven't even entertained the thought, which is a little bit different than Bobby over here.
Haven't seen any black cats running around? Nothing like that?
I don't know. One of my buddies has a black cat. Maybe I should go look at it.
I'm about to say, what are you going to do with the black cat? I don't know where you were going with
black
that.
Cats? Do you just like have to be near it and all of a sudden you just get bad luck, or like what's the deal?
I don't know what. Look.
You go pet them.
Oh, okay.
You go cherish them and give them love.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This is unbelievable.
Look,
you don't seem like a cat guy.
I don't know much about cats.
He doesn't seem like a cat. Like, he looks like more of maybe a dog person.
I'm not really much of a dog guy either.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same.
But is the dog in you, though? That's the question. Is the dog in you?
Oh, absolutely.
Tim, you got dog in you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That wasn't really convincing at all. I know I got some dog in me, and literally on me, as you can see.
Right, that's
you
right.
can literally see the dog on me, and I'm ready to cook today.
Bobby is like a goat guy.
No, I'm like 80% man, 20% dog.
All right, or half man, half amazing. Shout out to Vince Carter, former Maverick great. By the way, speaking of goats, we had one on earlier this week. Shout out to Dirk Nowitzki, who was on, of course, with DLLS Mavs. Make sure you check out that episode that we had earlier this week. Lots of fun on today's show, though, as we examine, gentlemen, not only Jaden Hardy's upcoming year, who are the most hated rivals of the Mavericks, but in our first topic for today, shout out to Daniel in the chat, BC, who's a Lakers fan, always jumping in. Appreciate you checking out our Mavs show.
Ooh,
Who's the best tandem in the league today? We've got Luka and Kyrie as a terrific tandem here in our own backyard.
I've got some names if you want to hear them.
Oh, definitely. We want to know who we feel like are the best duos in the league. Throw that in the chat as well today.
So I just want to start off with some that I think we all agree are not even in really consideration for being top 3, top 5, not in consideration for being better than Luka and Kyrie. We've got Bam and Jimmy Butler. Good duo.
Okay.
But no.
It's like the thinking man's duo.
Yeah,
right
the thinking
that's
basketball
a deep cut duo right there. Yeah,
I love Bam. I think Bam is so good.
Yeah, Bam is very good.
But yeah, especially with Jimmy, even a few years ago, I think they were just outside the top 5, and at this point, they're probably not top 10 to me. There's a lot of duos on this list. We've got De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis. Sabonis.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
De'Aaron Fox is such a fun player.
That's borderline top 10.
Those are two players that are on the same team.
Especially when he's not playing the Mavs, because De'Aaron Fox torches the Mavs.
So this is crazy how fallen this is far. This is in this current tier of duos. But Jokic and Murray. With the way Murray is playing, I just can't justify having him. And I kind of separated these for different reasons. You'll see why. You can make an argument that Jokic or Michael Porter Jr. or Aaron Gordon should be the duo.
It's still probably got to be Murray.
It's still probably got to be Murray for now.
It's still Murray, and Murray just worries me with where he is right now. I am probably selling low. I'm probably a little bit too worried about what Murray's been doing this summer. Clearly, Denver's not. So we've got Damian Lillard and Giannis. So it's crazy that this very early tier has two players who are, top 5 to me. But the way Lillard's playing, maybe I'm a little bit low on that duo.
I'm excited to see Giannis come back for this upcoming year after missing the playoffs entirely.
I might be a
year.
little low on them, but just for Giannis' sake.
You notice how quiet Bobby is. He's recusing himself on the Bucks
I'm not putting them
conversation
top
on
10
that
right
one.
now.
Giannis is great. I'm just not really into Giannis and Dame as a duo.
Okay.
Yeah, same. Halliburton and Pascal Siakam. I think that is. Let me see what my listing is.
That's an interesting
2, 4,
duo.
6, 8, 9. So I think that's probably low end top 10.
They're very good.
They
very
are.
good.
Won't play a lick of defense for you, but
Siakam he's doing his best.
He's okay.
He's trying
He's
his
a
hardest.
try-hard guy on defense.
Yeah.
Yes, very try-hard guy.
That is I would say that's probably like the number one most annoying duo to have to go up against. You're just like, oh my God, we played like 4 games already this week. Now I have to worry about these guys. Like Siakam's limbs are just flying all over the place. Like you're definitely going to get elbowed in the chest like 100 times.
Yeah.
Halliburton is going to like dance around and shoot funky jumpers over. It's just like, oh my God, just leave me alone.
And
like,
Halliburton's an incredible passer. So.
Yeah, like, can we just play the Bulls instead? Or like, why do we have to play these guys right now?
So 2 duos that I'm projecting a bit on. One's pretty obvious. Wembanyama and blanking. I didn't write his name down.
Chris Paul?
No, not Chris Paul.
Devin Vassell?
Vassell.
Devin
Thank
Vassell,
you.
okay.
You have to do a lot of projection to consider that like a
Hipster
top 10
choice
duo.
right now, yeah.
Zion Williamson's and Trey Murphy III. You've got to do even more
Okay, now you're
projection on
reaching.
that one.
Now we're reaching. You didn't even put Brandon Ingram. You just left Ingram out entirely on that duo.
I did.
With
Yeah,
Zion.
the,
That was on
take,
purpose.
the take is
Okay.
the inclusion.
You heard me.
more
Now, I
than
have to
the
say, I
ranking.
feel the take was.
that was the take, but I wrote that down specifically for that reason.
Okay.
That is not a good duo compared to even Fox and Sabonis.
No.
Fox and Sabonis clear.
No, you're right. So we've got 6 duos that kind of have the same problem where you're not sure who the second guy is.
Okay.
Anthony Edwards, and is it Gobert or Karl Anthony Towns? Either way, that's not a top 10 duo to me.
It's got to be Cat, right?
I would go with Gobert.
I would go with
Yeah?
Gobert, I think.
Yeah,
But-
just for the defense.
But it's really a trio that makes them good, not the duo, not the second person in that. This is bold, but Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and J-Dub. Or Chet. I think
I would go with Chet. I
would
like
go-
J-Dub as a player, though, a lot.
For them to be a top 10 duo, either Chet or J-Dub has to do a lot of advancing next year. They're great players right now.
Yeah.
They're both great as a 2A, 2B. But if we're talking duos, neither of them is clearly the 2 that's going to elevate.
Well, he was really good in the clutch last year. He was like 62%
J-Dub?
from the field in the
Yeah,
clutch.
yeah.
Like he was closing games for them a lot. Now, in the playoffs, that didn't come to be. I think in order for him to like really take the next step, he's got to have more moves. Like he's really got like the 1-2 dribble left, like step back from the little like 18-foot pull up from the left elbow, and he can kind of do that going right, and then he can get to the rim, but he's got to mix in some sort of like something else. You can kind of sit on that
A
shot.
little more variety to the game. Yeah.
This isn't in order either. I don't think Shai and J-Dub is a worse duo than the next one I'm going to name, but John Morant and Jaren Jackson, or
right,
is
Kevin.
it Desmond Bain?
Kevin.
Or is it Desmond Bain?
Look.
We don't know.
Hot take this year: John Morant's going to be a top 5 MVP candidate. He's going to finish top 5 in the MVP this year. I love what his game is going to bring back to Memphis, the excitement he's going to bring back. But I think that team is better because he is there. I know that doesn't sound like a whole lot of rocket science, but the gravitas, if I could use that word, of John Morant. Like, he came back in the first game that he had last year, hit a game winner, and the league was on fire. Like, oh, John Morant is that guy again.
He's got that
He
like
shot like
electric.
7 of 25.
It didn't
that game.
matter. It didn't matter. He made the game-winning shot, but that's the kind of elevation I think John Morant brings to that team, and he's specifically built for the Memphis
But that's
Grizzlies.
why, because he shot 7 of 25. I'm making this up. I'm pretty sure he shot really poorly. That speaks to why the fact that Jackson and Bain are both quite good.
Yeah.
And so neither of them really, it's a trio. It's not really a duo. You can't look at them as a duo and like isolate them out and somehow make them a top 10
Their
duo.
team's issue is that too often it has been a duo. Like the big three just
Yeah.
hasn't been available for them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brunson
He was 12
and
of 24 in that game, Tim.
Shot
12 of
50%.
24. Okay, that's fine. Brunson and Mikal Bridges or Julius Randle?
Oh, definitely
Ooh.
not Julius Randle, dude.
No, I agree with that, but at the same time, I'm not taking Brunson and Mikal Bridges over. I'm not sure I'm taking those two as a duo over Fox and Sabonis.
Especially when we haven't
Yeah, but-
seen Brunson
Maybe.
and Mikal Bridges
that's-
together on the same team.
Yeah, but that's a
yet.
whole team. Like
Yeah.
that is a full on team. Randall is not Randall.
Can I ask you guys a quick question on that real quick? When it comes to the Knicks, have we ever seen anything like what they have tried to put together with 4 former teammates all on the same team and trying to make all of that work together at the same time? Because I can't recall a specific example of seeing something like this being
it seems
put together.
Pretty unprecedented.
Yeah. Like it's extremely ambitious what the Knicks are trying to do with Tom Thibodeau and make sure not running them dudes
Will
into
they
the ground.
succeed? Let us know in the chat.
Yeah.
So I've got none of those duos are better than Luka Kyrie. Any disagreement there? Not a single duo I named.
No, not close.
Not better than Luka and Kyrie right now.
In consideration to like kind of clear them.
Not close.
No.
So here's 4 that I think have a chance, but 2 of them kind of have the same problem where you're not sure who the second guy is. Embiid and Maxey. I think that has to be the duo because Paul George is clearly slotting into the third. Embiid is an MVP candidate. Maxey had better numbers in some ways than Kyrie. I'm not sure I'd call him a better player, especially when you're talking about playoff.
Luka and Kyrie are better.
I think Luka and Kyrie is a better duo.
Even with
than
Paul
those 2.
George in there, I think you would still think Luka and Kyrie are better.
Yeah, that one's close though.
Yeah, that
one's really close.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Luka is a better player than Embiid, and I honestly maybe this is Homer Bobby, but
you feel like Kyrie's better than Paul George right now?
No, Kyrie's definitely Paul George, and also better than Tyrese Maxey.
Okay.
I would at least say Embiid is a wash with Luka, and that Kyrie is better than Maxey.
I don't know, man. I watched Embiid play. I mean, he was very, very injured, of course, but Embiid in the playoffs last year, Luka in the playoffs last year while playing very injured was in the finals.
So Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, or whoever.
That's your winner.
Yeah,
that's your winner.
Do you think that's the best 2?
Yeah.
The best duo?
Because both of them are better defenders than both Luka and Kyrie.
Yeah.
So I would really think about Durant Booker. And I would really think about LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Over Luka and Kyrie? I wouldn't take them over Luka and Kyrie.
I don't think I could either, but
Tatum and Brown, though, I would. What was the other one that you said?
Devin Booker and Kevin.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, yeah.
I think I would still take Luka and Kyrie over Durant and Booker.
I think I would too. I think that Luka's edge on both of those players makes up for the edge that they have on Kyrie.
The Bron AD one is tough, though, because Anthony Davis is one of the best defenders in the league, one of the best rebounders in the league, too. But LeBron at 40 years old now, how much more does he still have as a top 10 player? He keeps defying time, obviously, with what he's doing, but how much longer can we expect that to be where you can consider his one of the best duos?
And we're not even clearly projecting this into, even I think last season, very clearly Luka and Kyrie was better than that duo.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, no, I mean.
Yeah, last season.
If Kyrie would have.
So if we project this out, one more year of LeBron, 1 year LeBron's older.
I'm not a big Anthony Davis believer in the regular season. He just gets hurt. He's hurt too much.
Yeah.
He's hurt too much. Just like Embiid, hurt too much. You need to be able to play. He was not hurt last year.
Yeah, he was fantastic.
They were awesome in the play-in. They were really, really good.
So
did they avoid the play-in? I don't remember. I genuinely don't remember this. I'm not trying to spread falsehoods. Oh, they were in the play-in and they were spectacular enough to where they won the game in the play-in.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So it was
I
awesome.
would say for me, it's Tatum Brown, Luka Kyrie, and Embiid Maxey in some order.
Interesting. Yeah, I would agree with. I think that the Brown Tatum duo is probably the only one I would consider demonstrably better than Luka and Kyrie at this point.
Yeah, Tatum and Brown are the best.
Yeah.
I think it's Luka and Kyrie right after that, and then I think
that Embiid George thing's gonna be interesting though in Philadelphia though.
Yeah, I'd go with KD and Booker over Embiid and Maxey. I love Tyrese Maxey. I really like Tyrese Maxey.
Yeah,
but I think he's still needs a little more seasoning, and
right.
I think he'll get there. But Embiid, if we're projecting this forward, in 3 years, we're going to be talking about Joel Embiid as a duo.
I mean,
in 2 years,
the health.
It sucks. It sucks, but it is what it is. I don't know.
I'm just saying who's the best duos right now, though.
I'm still going with KD and Booker.
And again,
over
right now is a
Embiid.
big reason why Jokic, Murray is so low for me.
I'm not sure that now that they have Paul George, they would be, but I'm not sure that last year's Sixer team would have made the playoffs in the West.
Wow, yeah, because
missing him beat that, yeah.
He got hurt, but if they go through that full season with him healthy, I'm still not sure they do. Now, granted, it's a team game, whatever. That's why the whole duo thing is a little silly because you still need good teammates.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Tatum and Brown have been to the finals a million times, conference finals a million times. Like they're the kings.
And I like the duo that we got
Not
in our
Sacramento.
backyard here with Luka and Kyrie. Top 3 duo for sure in the league. Let us know in the chat as well who you feel like your top NBA duos are. We'll read some of those.
And shout
as the
out
chat
Andrew,
goes on.
who agrees with me.
Yeah, he definitely agreed with your top 3. Agree with Cato with the top 3 in terms of Luka and Kyrie fitting in there as well. Coming up here in just a moment, Jaden Hardy season preview, what we feel like he could possibly contribute to this Mavericks team this upcoming year. But before we get there, let me talk to you about Sleeper. I got some ball knowers here on set with me, but I want to know if you're a ball knower as well. The Sleeper app that you know for hosting the best fantasy football leagues in the game now allows you to put your knowledge to the test in every game by picking whether your favorite or least favorite players will have more or less in their projected stats each week. Cowboys taking on the Saints at high noon at AT&T Stadium on Sunday. I'm taking Dak Prescott to have his projected line of more than 250 passing yards. CeeDee Lamb more than his projected line of 75 receiving yards to help the Cowboys get a win at home to move 2-0 on the season. With Sleeper, the more picks you combine, the more you can win, all the way up to 100 times your money. Sleeper keeps you in the loop with instant alerts for breaking news and major injuries, so stay ahead of the game and keep track of league updates in real time so you're always informed and ready to outsmart your friends. If you think you have what it takes, I know I have what it takes. Download the Sleeper app and use the code DLLS Mavs to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in 25 states. Check out Sleeper today.
When you're hiring, it feels amazing to finally close out a job search. But what if you could just get rid of that search and just match? You can with Indeed. If you need to hire, you need Indeed. Indeed is your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data, and a matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. Ditch the busy work. Use Indeed for scheduling, screening, and messaging so you can connect with your candidates faster. Indeed doesn't just help you hire faster. 93% of employers agree Indeed delivers the highest quality matches compared to other job sites, according to recent Indeed surveys. Listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/AllCity. Just go to Indeed.com/AllCity right now and support our shows by saying you found out about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. Appreciate you, Tim. Now we get into Jaden Hardy's season preview. Jaden Hardy going into an important year for this team, a loaded Mavericks team that's got a lot of players looking to get rotational minutes this upcoming year. Jaden Hardy, one of those guys, going to be scrapping for those minutes, gentlemen. Bobby, talk to me a little bit Talk to me about Jaden Hardy's profile from last year as we get ready for this year.
Jaden Hardy last year, believe it or not, played in 73 games out of 82. It did feel like he fell out of the rotation there for a little bit, but that is not quite true. Averaged 7.3 points, 1.5 assists, 1.8 boards. His field goal percentage dipped to 40.7%. Three-point percentage dipped significantly down from 40% to 36%. Effective field goal percentage dipped below 50% too, and it was kind of like looking a little heady for him for a little bit there. But in the playoffs, he did ultimately crack the rotation in that OKC series and stuck around through Minnesota and part of the finals. Averaged 4 points and an assist. Got his three-point percentage back above 40% for that run. In the last year of his rookie deal, your rookie deal on a second-round contract, it's a pretty big time for you, and for what's going to happen next for you. So this is it's kind of a make-or-break year for him, as we've already talked about on the show before.
To your point about it feeling like he fell out of the rotation, he did play 15 games in the regular season under 5 minutes. 5 minutes or less.
Okay, so garbage time kind of.
So here's why I really liked Jaden Hardy's rookie season. I was really excited about it. I thought that he showed a lot of promise. And there's a lot of things that just didn't carry over from that rookie season to last year. I thought he seemed like a really good finisher his first season. Now, a rookie finisher who was undersized and struggled. But there was enough like really high level, complicated finish, like just like slam into the shot blocker and then finish over him, like strong enough to kind of move people around and still create space for shots. And it's a combination of two things last season. First is that he stopped taking as many layups. Within 3 feet of the rim, he was taking about 28% of his shots there, and that fell to 18%. And he fell. He was actually making them slightly more efficiently. His rookie season, he was only making about 55% of shots within 3 feet. It's not a very good percentage. It did rise to 57%. But that 55, a lot of that was baked in. It was just the eye test. There was an eye test thinking that he showed enough on these finishes, on this ability to get there, and then to sometimes finish in complicated ways over shot blockers, that I thought there might be a bigger jump, and there really wasn't. The big reason that his numbers fell, his efficiency fell, is that he stopped shooting free throws. He was taking free throws. His free throw rate was 0.24, fell to 0.16. And his true shooting just kind of fell off as a result of that. His three-point shooting wasn't as good. He wasn't as good from the corners. Big dip from the corners. He was 47% his rookie season, down to 35% on corner threes. Which is not what you want from a guy who's just taking spot-up threes, whose biggest NBA value, I think, is spot-up shooting, or at least proven value.
Well, that's the thing. You're in your third year of your career, and this is especially important for second-round picks, right? And for guys that are taken in the back half of the first round. You have to have an NBA skill. That was something that Rick Carlisle talked about all the time, and I know Rick got a lot of heat, and partially rightfully so, from fans for not giving young guys long enough leash, right, whenever they're trying to figure out what they do. But Rick said, and he proved it time and time again, like he will play guys if they have an NBA skill.
Yeah, something defined that they can do on an NBA court for sure.
Yeah, so Jaden Hardy comes to the NBA as a big-time scorer, right? And in the G League, he lit it up, dude. He was destroying people in the G League. His numbers from the G League are like video game. You know, they're extremely good. But at this point in his career, at this juncture, Derek Harper, he's not quite an NBA-level scorer. And I don't mean scorers like he can put the ball in the basket, of course, but I mean like he's not going to get 20 points a game, right? He's not an NBA-level shot creator, NBA-level shot maker. So what can you do? What is your NBA skill? What is the thing that's going to keep you on the floor? His rookie season, you're willing to work through the growing pains about trying to figure out, like, all right, I can finish around the rim here. That's better angle, or maybe I should have passed, or maybe I need to learn how to make the pass, because he shot 40% from three, because he was such a prolific catch-and-shoot player, and because he did have some breakaway speed in the open floor, and that's a dynamic that the team was really missing at the time. But last year, you got Luka Doncic, you got Kyrie Irving, like, we're set on scoring, you know?
And
we're
then you
set
add Spencer
on shot
Dinwiddie to the
creators.
mix this year.
Yeah, and so, you know, the room is full.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to be on the team, you know, if you want to be in the rotation, if you want to play every single night, if you want to play 20 minutes or whatever, like, you have to contribute in other ways. You got to be really good at catch and shooting. You got to be really good at defense. You got to be really good secondary playmaker. You got to be good attacking gaps in the defense and all that stuff, because there are other players on the team, Dante Exum, Quentin Grimes, Klay Thompson's going to be getting a bunch of minutes this year, that can do that stuff and that will do that stuff. So, you know, it kind of reminds me, D. Wheeler mentioned in the chat, but it kind of reminds me of Dennis Smith Jr.'s first couple years in Dallas. His first season, there's no Luka. He's the point guard. We're willing to live with the mistakes. It doesn't matter. Hey, you're figuring it out, Dennis. Year two, Luka comes in. Okay. Yeah, Luka's the point guard now.
Yeah.
What can you do to complement him? Like, your rookie year, you struggle with shooting. Your jumpers kind of whatever, hit or miss. You're a little turnover prone. That's all fine. We'll work it out. With Luka, your opportunities are reduced. So how else can you contribute? It took Dennis a few years to become a really, really good defender and figure out that's my avenue to stay in the league, right? Hardy's got the athleticism, quickness, size, and length to be a really effective defender.
Yeah.
I wonder if 5 years from now we're talking about Jaden Hardy as a good catch-and-shoot guy, like a 3-and-D player, Dante Exum.
And Dallas didn't ask him. It's very clear to me Hardy was empowered to take all those mid-range shots. Dallas saw his best value, his best development path for this team to become that microwave scorer off the bench. And they were somebody, you know, the coaching staff very clearly was encouraging him to take a lot of these pull-up twos. He just didn't make them. He didn't make them at all. I think, you know, I agree with you that I do think that he has the skill set to develop into an NBA role player. I don't think that's with Dallas unless that part of his scoring gets unlocked this season.
I mean, Kevin, it's got to happen.
And he's got to have a chance to be able to do it. We talked about what this rotation looks like in front of him, how we have a chance to crack minutes. I want to go back to something you mentioned a little bit earlier in terms of his profile, because Last year, Jason Kidd pushed the button of putting Jaden Hardy into that Oklahoma City series, and he was able to make some plays. And I wonder how much confidence he can take from that success he had a little bit in the playoffs into parlaying that this upcoming year. But again, will he have the opportunities consistently to do that? Because when he did have those moments last year, we thought, okay, maybe this is the corner that he can finally turn to maybe show some more of that development. Because last year, he was working a lot on making those reads, becoming a little bit better passer and playmaker, and you saw that come to fruition a little bit. I just don't know with how deep this team is if Hardy will have that chance, and like Tim said, maybe have to do that somewhere else based on what this team already has here.
He was really good at making those simple plays. And that's not like in a condescending
out of the short
way.
roll and things of that nature.
Like coaches will call it a simple play, simple read.
Yep.
Drive, go. Guys open, pass it.
Identify low man and then be able to make it happen.
Yeah, you're not thinking, you're just doing. And Hardy is so quick. Like he's got the fastest first step on the team. He's probably the quickest guy on the open floor, maybe even the fastest guy on the open floor. Like he can attack those gaps, and there's going to be a lot of those. And part of the reason he was so effective in OKC or versus OKC was because they were doubling Kyrie all the time.
Yeah.
So Kyrie's out there. There's two following him off a screen. Luka's out there. Dude, in that OKC series, Luka could barely move.
Yeah.
And so he could not break down Lou Dort. He needed someone else to break down the defense for him, and Hardy was able to do it and find guys in the lob or sometimes kick it out to the corner, sometimes finish himself. But learning, like being able to judge in real time at 100 miles an hour, do I need to find the lob guy? Is the corner shooter open, or can I make this shot myself? Is super tough, right? It's super tough to develop that judgment, especially when at every other level in his career, Hardy has been able to go up and yam it on whoever.
And he's been the man at every other level.
Yeah, it is kind of Dennis Smith, where when your athleticism is so far superior at every level you have growing up, you just don't have the ability to kind of learn the nuances of how to compensate for, or what's going to happen when you don't have those obvious advantages to the extent that you do.
I mean, Hardy goes up and gets blocked a lot. I mean, for a player his size and with his verticality, he gets blocked a lot, and he doesn't get the benefit of the doubt in foul calls. Like, so you have to get better.
He did his rookie season.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, you have to get either better at creating the contact or more judicious about, okay, maybe I should try and put some English on this thing or develop a floater or something. You have to develop some sort of counter move to guys just figuring out, hey, he's going to try and throw it down on me. I can just go up and meet it at the apex and send that thing into the fifth row.
A lot of that is like the changing of speeds, like the having multiple speeds. He's kind of a one-speed guy when he's driving.
And he goes 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, he's a one-leg jumper, and
yeah,
he doesn't quite get the lift off one leg. But like, we're not saying that he's a lost cause or anything. It's like even making simple plays is super tough in the NBA.
Yeah.
That's the thing, and it's really, really tough for these like kind of tweener guards to figure that out. It's sort of like a relic of a bygone era, like the microwave scorers off the bench. In today's NBA, you have to also be able to create your own shot, but also connect, but also play defense, but also catch and shoot. Like all these things that run together. You can't just be like the one speed, one trick pony kind of guy.
Which step is likeliest for him to take? Either becoming like a elite knockdown spot up shooter, which we saw flashes of
he can
rookie
shoot
season.
the piss out of the ball, man. He's such
Could
a
it be a
good
Jordan Clarkson type, as David mentions in the chat?
41, 42%.
Yeah.
Is that likeliest? Is his decision-making going from good, simple reads as a secondary guy to more advanced on that level? Is that more likely, or is a defensive jump more likely? Because
for this season, I would say shooting.
Yeah.
For this
He's
season,
gotta
I
be
would
a
say
scorer,
shooting.
yeah.
And for this season, I would say shooting is the least interesting one, the one that is least likely to keep him in Dallas if he's looking to develop further. I think the decision making and the defense, if he could take leaps in either of those ways, that's far more interesting about his future in Dallas, or even his future in the rotation this coming season. I just don't see either of those things. I think those things will take time.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen overnight. I mean, to become a really, really good like Dennis Smith Jr. level defender, and it's amazing that Dennis is on a team. I'm sure he will be soon, but
you got to make that commitment to that defensive end. If you're
that is a complete attitudinal shift, right?
Yeah.
Like you are pouring your energy, your mental energy, physical energy into one end of the floor as opposed to the other. And Hardy, again, came up his whole life. He's been a scorer. He's been an unbelievable scorer, and he might still become an NBA scorer. But right now, he's just not quite there. He's just not quite there. So if you're trying to play on a team that's trying to go to the finals again, you got to figure out how you can fit in, because there's a whole lot of competition on the roster, and those guys are coming for minutes.
It sounds a little weird. I think him going from a 40% mid-range shooter to a 50% mid-range shooter, even on limited
it'd be
attempts,
amazing.
Yeah, it'd be great.
I think that's his best path for Dallas to be like, we want you back.
Or get a floater. If you can get a floater, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone, please get a floater.
Get a floater package.
Just develop a floater.
Coming up here in just a moment, we will dive into a couple of stats that Bobby has is going to define this season for the Mavericks when it comes to their championship aspirations. But before we get there, gentlemen, you got to become a diehard member here at DLLS Sports. The best way you can do that, go to alldlls.com/diehard, become a diehard member today. 20% off events. We've got incredible merchandise as well. Member-only Discord chat, and you get a physical diehard card as well. We've got incredible merchandise. You get a free t-shirt when you become a diehard member as well. A lot of premium content as well on our website that you'll have access to, including one that Bobby has up right now.
Gentlemen, did you bring your calculators? I'd send a text.
I do have a calculator on my phone.
No, TI-82 Plus. The one that can play baseball and all the
It's
games.
been a long time since I've had one of those.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess
I expense it?
no one reads my text. I
I
don't know.
expense
Can you
it?
buy those anymore? TI's right down
I
the street.
assume.
Hey, can we get TI on the pod? I don't mean the rapper. I mean like Texas Instruments.
My
That
dad-
would be actually really
It
dope.
would be cool to bring TI on the
That
pod.
would be
A
great.
long
actually.
time ago, my dad worked at TI.
We'll see
Oh,
if
really?
he's
Not the
got,
rapper,
see if he's got
the-
some extras.
The Texas Instruments.
So I wrote an article today at alldlls.com that is available if you're a diehard member. 5 key stats that could make or break the Mavs this season. And I'm not using some like clickbait hyperbole to be like, wow, this might not be important, but it actually is. But I promise you it's not. These are super relevant stats. Okay. Now we've talked about the 3-point shooting on this team quite a bit. Obviously, you add Clay, Quentin Grimes, Najee Marshall, these guys, Spencer Dinwiddie, another guy that's really good from the corner. The Mavs led the league in corner threes last season, but they were not very good at making them. This stat is kind of like that, but a little beefier, okay? So last season, 12 teams make the top 6, right, in either conference, okay? 20 teams make the play-in. Mm-hmm. The only team that even made the play-in with a lower catch-and-shoot three-point percentage than the Mavs last season was the Chicago Bulls.
Oh, wow.
No team that made the top 12, even Orlando, who the caveat is built in, like, man, if only Orlando could shoot, they'd be really good.
The mid-range merchants in Chicago.
Even the Magic had a higher catch-and-shoot three-point percentage than the Mavs. The Mavs last year, 36.7% on catch-and-shoot threes.
Wow.
Your league leaders in catch-and-shoot three-point percentage, Boston, 40.6%.
That's because they took a bazillion of them per game.
OKC, 40.2%.
Well, they made a bazillion.
Yeah, and
of
then
them.
they
Yeah.
took them and made a bazillion of them.
Minnesota, 39.9%. Now, those are your 3 best records in the NBA. They're also your 3 best catch-and-shoot teams in the NBA. I wonder if there's a correlation. Well, look no further than 4th place, LA Clippers, 39.6%. One of the only other teams in the league with a better record than the Mavs last season. And then Indiana at 38.8%. They finished 5th, and they went to the conference finals. So 3 of the top 5 made the conference finals. 4 of the top 5 had a top 5 record in the NBA last season. The Nets somehow finished top 10 in that stat, but every other team that finished top 10 was a very, very good team. Okay. So again, we're talking about Klay Thompson, Dinwiddie, but there's also players on the roster that when they maybe miss their first couple, they might start hesitating on the next one. Guy like that last year, Derrick Jones Jr. isn't here anymore, but PJ Washington, Dante Exum, Maxi Kleba still are. Jaden Hardy isn't quite trigger shy, but he might start passing up if he feels like he's not really in the mood either or in the zone. The Mavs attempted just 25 catch-and-shoot threes per game last year, which is below average around the league. They took a lot of threes off the dribble. Those are tougher to make. They did not take as many catch-and-shoot threes. Those are easier to make. So that is like super duper ultra important. And it's not only important to take them and make them because 3 points more than 2, but it also makes Luka and Kyrie's job easier when you got guys that can shoot it.
Will Luka ever become that kind of catch-and-shoot three-pointer? Catch-and-shoot three-point guy in the league?
I don't know. What do you think?
I'm wondering because that's not necessarily been a part of his game throughout his career, but we saw last year he shot a career high from the three-point line, shot nearly 39% from 3. I wonder if that confidence in terms of his three-point shot will extend now to some of those catch-and-shoot opportunities, because if we're going to try to maybe reduce some of Luka's usage this upcoming year with Kyrie, handling the ball, obviously you got Klay Thompson here as well, there may be some opportunities for some more catch-and-shoot threes for Luka, but I think that's another part of his game that he could improve upon if there is anything else he can improve on.
Yeah, you're never going to find him in the corner, but you will. He does spot up atop the arc every now and
Every
then.
now
but
and
like
then.
it's just his
Yeah.
defender never wants to sag too far off him.
And I guess part of that too, he
Right.
has the ball in his hands so much that he's not going to necessarily have a lot of catch and shoot opportunities because he's got the ball primarily in his
I mean,
hands.
sometimes it'll be swing.
I was looking up. I was curious. Like you're naming all these teams that are so good at this. Dallas in the postseason, even though they only improved their catch and shoot percentage by 1.4, I believe.
That's still significant.
1.4 is significant. It was also better than Minnesota, better than Oklahoma City, better than the Clippers.
Wow.
Wow.
There you go. And I
So-
wonder why the Mavs made the finals.
Like those three teams were very high up there in the regular season, as your point points out. But Dallas was better than them in the postseason. It's very hard to beat teams over a 7-game series if you're making fewer catch and shoot threes.
Yeah. And it's not like you could very easily look at that stat and say, oh, well, duh, you doofus. Like if you
I
make,
don't think I would say
I don't
it
think I would say
like
quite
that.
like
if
that.
you make
but-
more threes, of course you're going to be better. And if you miss more shots, of course you're going to be worse. But like it's what it opens up, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're not knocking down shots, teams are going to continue leaving you open, which thereby makes Luka's job tougher. It makes Kyrie's job tougher. It makes lob targets jobs tougher. Daniel Gafford is rolling into 5 guys instead of 1. Derek Lively's trying to get an offensive rebound around 12 guys. Somehow 12 guys are legally on the floor. We can count the refs in there, as opposed to just his own man. Like the shooters have to be able to knock down shots to make Luka's job easier. Luka and Kyrie serving them up easy shots, those guys have to knock them down too.
Which is why the addition of Klay Thompson is so valuable for this team because of how deadly he is in terms of catch and shoot opportunities. He's going to knock down a ton of those this upcoming year, especially if they're getting out in transition. Klay's going to find a corner, and next thing you know, he's going to be knocking down a bunch of threes for this team. I think that's going to be really
absolutely.
yeah.
And like
Yeah.
you start making them, defense have to overreact. If you start missing them, defense is going to overreact the other way. Like it's all, the Mavs' biggest challenge against OKC this year is they can't just leave a guy wide open to take all the catch and shoot threes he wants.
Yeah.
Like
And if
you gonna
PJ
leave
starts
Caruso
knocking down
wide
some
open?
of those as well this year,
Yeah.
now you're really opening up the floor for a lot of those driving lanes as well.
And
for
at the
those
rate
guys.
that they took them, if the Mavs were to knock down 1 extra 3 per game, 1 extra catch and shoot 3 per game of the 16 they missed last season per game, they would climb from wherever they finished, like 22nd in the league, I think was where they finished, all the way up to first. Like you make 1 more per game. That's 4%.
Percentages are so crazy to me.
Yeah, but you
Yeah.
just make. How about this? Make 1 every 2 games. You finish around league average, and
Yeah.
all of a sudden that's 3 point. That's an extra 1.5 per game.
Shout out to
over
Klay
82
Thompson.
games. That's some wins. Yeah.
Those are very good stats. Or that was one stat.
Well, that's
really.
one stat.
Yeah.
I got
It was a
another
lot
one.
of stats within a single stat.
Yeah. You want
So,
another one?
I would love
Please.
another one.
All right. So we've been talking about pace and how the Mavs, without Jones, without Josh Green in particular, they might slow down a little bit. This next stat is about scoring early and scoring often, but it's not just about fast break offense, right? So NBA.com, this is all free data. NBA.com will break down teams' volume and effectiveness and field goal percentage based on how much time is left on the shot clock when you take the shot, right? So let's go back to 21-22. The Mavs were good that season, right? They were very good. They went to the conference finals. Less than 15% of their field goal attempts that season came with between 18 and 15 seconds left on the shot clock.
And so 18 to 15. So if you're looking at 19 to 24,
That's fast breaks.
that's fast breaks. That's leak outs.
Yeah.
That's like a lot of the times that is a
That's a dunk.
an opponent's breakdown.
Yeah.
It's not even something you can control. Whereas to me, this 18 to 15 means you have a purpose. You are being very purposeful about getting down the court.
Yeah, you're being intentional about getting up the floor, and also
Right.
like this is where we talked about PJ Washington the other day. Get the rebound and push the ball.
Yeah.
You become a threat to score in the open floor, which could force the defense to react, which could open things up for somebody else. So like PJ Washington gets the rebound, push the ball. I'm not expecting him to be Magic Johnson on the break, but I'm expecting that to cause some sort of chain reaction where now all of a sudden like a center is guarding Kyrie somehow.
And you've
then
got to
it's
react to PJ because he can finish at the rim in transition as well.
Right,
yeah,
you have to be a threat with the ball.
Exactly.
It's taking advantage of a defense that is hustling to get back, not a defense that fell asleep, or not a defense or not a leak out. It is a defense that is in motion to be back. There's not necessarily a wide open. There's not. It's not a layup is not one pass away or beat one guy away.
Yeah.
But you have to be down on that side of the court to take advantage of some still settling, not quite, a little bit of chaos or a
Secondary
little bit
break
of
opportunity.
Yeah, in
stuff
other
like
words,
that, yeah.
you can't score during that range if you're just walking the ball up the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that season, the Mavs took again, under 15% of their shots are in that range, which ranked 26th in the NBA. That season, nearly 12%, so almost 1 out of every 8 shots they took the entire season, came with between 4 and 0 seconds left in the shot clock.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which was the second most in the NBA. You were letting 20 seconds go to waste before you do it. And that season, it was a lot of everybody standing around and wait for the pass kind of thing, very stagnant offense. And so Luka's dribbling it for 21 seconds, burning a bunch of energy, wasting a bunch of time, pounding the air out of the ball. And now all of a sudden, oh, Dorian, shoot the ball.
Yeah.
You know, last season, the Mavs took almost 17% of their shots with between 18 and 15 seconds left on the shot clock, which ranked 13th in the NBA.
Okay.
So dramatically faster. They took less than 7% of their shots with between 4 and 0 seconds left on the clock, which ranked all the way down at 30th in the NBA.
Dead last. Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's great.
This is a big reason why their
Yeah.
pace jumped, even though they were not the best transition team in the NBA last season. They had a bunch of the leakouts, but they were taking shots earlier in the shot clock.
Yes,
Forcing
you're
it
not
that
waiting.
Pace and tempo does not only mean that you get a bunch of runouts, that you score at 22 or 20. It means that you find a good shot at 12, at 8, rather than pulling it all the way down. So just
And you're
got
putting
more
extra pressure
possessions.
on the defense in
Yeah.
those areas as well. Yeah.
I would like to so that 18 to 15 shot clock segment that we were talking about.
Yep.
I've got a prediction that I don't even think is very bold. The leading Maverick by points in that range, Klay Thompson.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. I would agree with that.
In
Yeah.
fact, it's not. It's
Yeah.
I would almost guarantee it is.
Yeah, I
Like
mean,
that. That is his range. You get down the court. If you're getting down the court, get down the court, and he's just open.
Get in the corner.
Yeah, yeah.
Get in the corner. Get
You
on
get
the
down
wing.
the floor before the defense does. You got space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then you got mismatches, and that's like the Mavs' entire offense is built around trying to engineer mismatches. Right. And you can do that every time down the floor, but if you don't even cross half court until there's 16 seconds left in the shot clock, and then you're like, all right, hey, where's the bad defender? Is on Maxey. Hey, Maxey, come up here. No, not you, PJ. Maxey, come up here. Now all of a sudden there's 5 seconds left.
Yeah.
And you better do something fast. You know,
sure.
so you're usually going to settle for a bad shot. Now, last season, this is why it's so important to take earlier shots, right? First off, it's more fun to watch. But last season, the Mavs were actually the third most efficient team with between 4 and 0 seconds left on the clock.
I almost mentioned that earlier because of Luka and because he has he knows exactly.
He and
how
Kyrie are
much time
tough
there is.
shot makers too, though. You know?
It's tough shot makers, and also Luka just like he can run an offense. He can run a pick and roll. He can run a 24-second possession better than anybody in the league.
Yeah.
So there are times that he sees something at 5 seconds and he knows that he has in 3 seconds it will open and he gets it. Still, that's not what you want to build an offense
It's
on.
not sustainable.
I'm about to say that's only one of one when it comes to that kind of player.
So they're the
Yes.
third most efficient team last year during that time range. They had an effective field goal percentage of 46.9%. Now, for reference, during Russell Westbrook's time with the LA Lakers, he had a 47.0 effective field goal percentage. So the Mavs shot it like Russ last year with under 4 seconds left on the clock. By comparison, during the 18 to 15 range, the Mavs had a 58.0 effective field goal percentage, which is better than what Steph shot last year.
Wow.
So when the Mavs shoot early, they shoot it like Steph. When they shoot late, they shoot it like Russ. You gotta it's not so much about just trying to score on the break. It's about just trying to engineer shots earlier in the clock.
The intentionality of it. Yeah.
Stop wasting time. Get up the floor. And that, again, is so important that they've gotten with PJ about pushing the ball. But last season you saw basically every single Mav, with the exception of a center, if they got a rebound,
They're pushing.
Go.
Yeah.
Just go. Like, if nothing is there, don't force it. Luka will eventually get up there. You can get in your offense. But if something is there, attack. Exploit.
And the floor is going to be even spread out even more with your shooters that you're going to be having with those runouts that you're going to be having with PJ and Klay. Like, it's going to be a lot of open space, but also the ability to find those intentions and getting those shots up in that 15, 18-second range. That's pretty big there.
Yeah, now that's just 2 of the 5. There's 3 more. So if you become a diehard today, or really at any point in the future, you can read that article. But in closing, basically, the whole point of this is like there's little tiny cracks, right? No team is flawless. Even the Celtics had some weaknesses last year. If the Mavs can just like shore up a couple of these, they can go from 50 to 55 wins. If they shore up all 5 of these, they will push for 60 wins. They will. Like, you just get a little better at some of the things you're not very good at. You become good at the things you're mid at. You become mid at the things you're bad at. All of a sudden, like you easily have home court. This stuff is so important.
All that content you can find at alldlls.com/diehard. Become a diehard member today. You get a physical diehard card as well. 20% off events. Member-only Discord. A lot of premium content, not just from the Mavs, Cowboys, Rangers, Stars as well. You get a free t-shirt when you become a diehard member as well. So many incredible benefits when you become a diehard member here at DLLS Sports. That's alldlls.com/diehard. Become a diehard member today. Get that free t-shirt, show off your diehard card, and check out all this amazing content and that amazing content that you just heard from Bobby Karalla as well. Again, alldlls.com/diehard to become a diehard member today here at DLLS Sports. The best way you can grow our channel here as well, like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you're watching us right now, and make sure you check out the podcast as well wherever you get your podcasts free. As we close our show today, gentlemen, I want you to jump into the chat as well. Let us know your most hated rival when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks, or a team you just don't like in general in the NBA. We were having some discussion about this that led to a topic like, yeah, we could talk about some of the teams that are the biggest rivals of the Mavericks, or teams that we just don't have an affinity for, or whatever the case may be. So is there any teams that jump out to mind? Because I have one in particular that just stands out to me. Not necessarily that's a rival of the Mavericks, but just one that just bothers me in general. You guys, you want me to go ahead and just
take it away, get us started?
Yeah.
Okay, so a team that really bothers me is the Atlanta Hawks.
Wow, okay.
I feel like the Hawks,
Why?
Because they never have a plan. I feel like they never have a direction that they're going with their franchise.
Okay.
I just feel like they're just off in the NBA land, just playing games.
You don't
and
like have it out for their players or anything?
No, not for their players at all. Just as a general organization as a whole. Like, even when they're good, what was it 2016 or 17 when Bron and the Cavs were a 4 seed and the Hawks were the number 1 seed? Mike Budenholzer leading that team. Good team, but you let Bron come in there, and I think it was a sweep or a gentleman's sweep. I think it was a clean sweep, actually, of that Hawks team. I'm just like, what are we doing here? The Hawks just bother me as a team.
Don't say a bad word about Millsap, dude. Paul Millsap is my hero.
Was a good player. Al Horford was a good player while he was there.
Al Horford.
But now they just went through the whole DeJounte Murray experiment. That didn't work out with Trae Young.
I think he just doesn't like Mike Scott's emoji tattoos.
I don't even.
Nah, that's a deep cut, man.
Yeah, that is a deep cut.
Little
a
bench,
really deep
bench
Tim
big
thinks
off
that
that team.
Trae Young gonna be in Miami at some point in the next year or two. So I mean,
Did I predict that?
Yeah,
I was in a fugue state. I don't remember anything I
you
made
was
that
in hot
prediction
zone
show.
state that day. You thought
No. I said at the time that I was not held accountable for any
for
of those
for
predictions.
those stakes. Okay,
And in
all
fact, I will not remember them the moment the show ended.
Yeah.
So if I said that, I did.
you're
But
sure you did. Okay,
Not my concern.
I like what D. Wheeler said. The Thunder, since they're still yapping about their playoff loss, I think is that mostly the fans that you're talking about though. Like
I feel
there's
like
been
it's
been a
yeah.
lot of Twitter beef about that.
Yeah.
I do think familiarity breeds contempt, and so Mavs and Thunder is going to be pretty juicy. I was about to say jicey, like spicy, and also juicy.
Juicy and spicy.
Yeah,
Jicey.
it's
Is that
gonna
what
be
we're
some-
doing?
there's gonna be
That's
some
a new word
spice
for you,
juice.
Tanner. Jicey.
Yeah, there's gonna be some spice juice between them, but
or spoosy.
I
don't
do
know.
have to say,
I don't know.
I like individually, I like all the Thunder players, but the barking in group interviews I think is corny. I don't like it.
Oh, you don't like it?
I just don't like it.
I mean, it's their team
I'm a
thing.
hater. I'm a hater.
Okay,
I just don't like it.
Okay. Jacob, he says
How
the
did
fans.
you feel when Claro asked for the same thing at one of her shows?
Who?
Okay, we're gonna move on from that one.
Okay.
You know Claro.
Can I say
Yeah.
one team? Can
Oh,
I say
for
one
sure.
team?
Please.
And this is tough for me.
The look on
Because-
your face right now is like, come on, Bobby, get it out now.
The Boston Celtics top 6 has 5 players that I love. I love Drew Holiday. Probably might be my favorite player in the NBA. Just love Drew Holiday. Okay.
Okay.
Love Derek White.
Cool.
I've been a Derek White truther since day one.
Okay.
All right.
Gold medalist Derek White now.
Huge Jaylen Brown fan.
'Kay.
I maintain that Jaylen Brown is the best player on their team. That's an edgelord take. Love KP and I love Al Horford. But I think Jason Tatum's really corny, and it just drives me nuts. And I also did not appreciate the Twitter interactions with Celtics people over the years.
So with Tatum,
Mad at Sam Hauser too.
I don't have
Did
nothing
Luke
against Sam.
Cornett steal your
Peyton
girl?
Pritchard though is on my list. It's on site with Peyton Pritchard. I'm
Oh,
the buzz
not
cut
on
king.
site.
Peyton.
He said
Don't
it's
come for
on
my buzz
site.
cut, Peyton Pritchard.
wow. By the way, Jason Tatum trying to do every NBA championship celebration imaginable. That was cheesy as hell. Not gonna lie to you.
It was just corny.
It's possible. All right, Jason, it's been
We
done
did
before.
it.
We did it. Like,
Just come on, man.
Come on,
just
dog.
like
Just be
instead of doing it, just do your own thing. Like, don't did it. Like, do it.
the fake shock and awe of winning a championship. Oh my God, we did it.
Who could have seen it? We won 65 million.
We
games
all
this
saw it
season.
coming,
Who knows?
Jason. We kind of saw it coming. Your team was really damn good. We got it. Tim, you have any team that you just don't like or
Not really.
feel neutral toward?
Bayern Munich.
Oh, okay. This is not a
for
soccer
the NBA,
show.
I don't know.
Are there any players that just grind your gears?
I'm truly not. I'm thinking. I mean,
Where
does,
it's like,
does Orlando count in this? I love Orlando. I've never been to the city. It's like one of the only NBA cities I've never been
it's
to.
a
Does
solid
that count?
city. Solid
Like
city.
I've
It is.
avoided Orlando. I just
By choice?
but I like, honestly, yeah. But I
Wow.
like the team. I
got real
It's
beef
not
with
anybody. It's not any of the players that annoy me. I don't know. As a journalist who's like, I don't know. I just don't dislike,
Who
whatever you
was
want to say.
Tim Cato's most hated player or team growing up?
I'm trying to think
as
of-
a fan.
Just like who's like annoying. There's players that are annoying to watch. Like Lou Dort, I like Lou Dort, but he's annoying.
because I hated the
don't
2000s
like watching Lou Dort defend.
Lakers teams. I wanted Sacramento to beat the brakes off those Lakers teams so bad
Oh, yeah,
in the
well,
early 2000s, and it never.
There
really-
were many causes that were fighting against yours there.
yes, plenty.
Orders
yes.
from on high.
Yeah. You got any?
I'm still thinking.
Okay. Well, I'll see. What
Yeah,
some
so
of
like
this-
David West was a big one. So yeah,
Yeah.
we got
I mean,
Dirk in the chat. Shout out the GOAT saying
Shout out.
David West.
It's kind of like I don't enjoy watching the Brandon Ingram, Jeremy Grant type players. I have
Okay.
nothing against them personally. That's just not really my style. In a weird way, I have
None of this is
come,
personal.
in a weird way, I have come to really enjoy DeMar DeRozan.
the
Okay.
mid-range merchant himself, DeMar DeRozan. Speaking of Sacramento and the Kings, yeah.
I think that my equivalent of the Hawks is the Bulls. It's like I don't dislike any of their players. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on?
What is the
here?
plan
What
in
is
Chicago?
what is this?
I saw a recent report where they're trying to like mend the relationship with Zach LaVine out there after trying to trade him 1,000 times.
Yeah, it's just like, dude,
I
like
love Zach LaVine.
you're trading a bunch of
He's
picks
awesome.
for players that like are not going to make you any better. You're paying guys to stay that you're just not ever getting any better. Then you trade one of the most valuable players in the NBA for Josh Giddey. It's like, come on, man. Like,
And didn't get
are
a
you
first-round
doing?
pick out of it
yeah,
either.
it's like, what are you doing?
That really
Come
pissed me
on.
off. That really made me
Like, I
upset.
can't believe that they get revenue sharing the same with all the other teams that are actually trying. Like, this wheel spinning for 20 years.
I feel like in the
Let's
NBA,
get with the program.
if you're not going to be one of the teams that's at the very top, tank it all the way out and just be really bad. Don't be Chicago where you're sitting in the middle for years and years and
By
years.
choice.
By choice with no direction on where you want to go. Like you said, paying all these guys and trying to figure out what you're trying to do to either. And it's the East too, so I never understood why they didn't try to like at some point go for it, or maybe they did and just didn't work out the way that they wanted to.
They were good
with-
that one
with
year, and then
Vucevic
obviously
and-
Lonzo Ball's injury is a massive bummer because
Yeah.
that team was good and they were fun to watch
That's a
too.
player
They were a
we
lot of fun.
have not hardly talked about at all in the last like 2 years.
Yeah,
Lonzo
Well, it hasn't
Ball.
been much to talk
I
about.
mean, that's what I'm saying. It hasn't been much to
Yeah,
talk
it
about. But it's
sucks,
just like,
man.
yeah, I feel bad for him.
Dude,
that
he was so much fun to watch. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Like the Bulls team whenever it was like Lonzo, Caruso with Levine and kind of DeRozan, like they were kind of playing four guard, but then some of them were coming off the bench, whatever. That was a fun team to watch.
Yeah.
Real fun team to watch.
Others in the chat for Andrew, Wizards is that team for him, Bobby. Like, what the hell are the Wizards doing?
Ah, okay. I mean, they're definitely bottoming out.
they're
right now, yeah.
taking it out. They're definitely taking
You
it
guys
out.
don't dislike them. It's just that you don't understand them.
Well,
Or
I
you're
think
like,
I think it would be natural for Mavs fans to feel some kind of way about like Kyle Kuzma after the whole.
Mavs fans had real thoughts on the whole Kyle Kuzma. You know, I'm not on that timeline trying to win a championship type thing versus what the Mavericks were trying to do.
Yeah, and the year before that, doing the Dinwiddie thing, which was kind of a funny tweet, but also it's like, don't come for our guy.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
I don't enjoy watching DeJounte Murray.
You don't like
You
DeJounte
don't like
Murray?
watching DeJounte Murray.
I don't enjoy watching him.
I love DeJounte Murray.
Really?
Why?
Interesting.
I just think he's cool, and I think he always has good games against the Mavs. I'm like, that guy must be good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who's like a player. Oh, your boy Chimezie Metu is always killing the Mavs.
Nah, we don't talk about him.
I was trying to think of other
Yeah,
players
but
that just like
he's just succeeding at his job. How can you be upset about that?
against the Mavs all the time. De'Aaron Fox is another one for me. Every time that cat walks into the American Airlines Center, De'Aaron Fox is going off for 40, and it makes me sick.
He's a killer.
Every time I see him.
He is a killer.
He's great.
Who's the bench shooter that Atlanta has?
Bogdanovich?
Oh, Bogdanovich?
No.
Vit Krejci?
Garrison Matthews.
Oh, okay. You don't like him?
Well, that's a deep cut right there. That's a real deep cut.
I don't look at him and think he should be able to shoot like that. You know?
Okay.
He just doesn't look like a shooter to me.
What does he look like to you?
I'm about to
Tim?
say, yeah. Exactly. What does he look like
Not a shooter.
exactly?
Does he look like a basketball player to you, or does he look like he should be able to do something else?
I guess so. I don't know. I haven't really thought this one out. I just don't
You
think
said
of him
it.
as a
I was like,
shooter.
wait, hold on.
Are you in a flow
Well,
state
I'm
again?
doing
Like,
my
is that what's
best.
happening?
I'm doing my best here.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Oh, I see from DJ Augustine. That's a real random. Shout out to the Texas Longhorns. That's real random. Okay.
David Roddy, that's a good shout out too.
Oh yeah, Memphis Grizzlies.
Although he's not there anymore.
He's not,
He is on.
Was it Utah?
He was with Phoenix for a second, and he might be in Utah now.
Yeah,
So.
yeah.
David Roddy, where are you at? Come on, DLLS Mavs. David Roddy plays for the Atlanta Hawks. Kevin.
Of course,
Your
he'll play
favorite
for the
team.
Atlanta Hawks. Of course, he does. Any more in the chat before we get out of here today? I just want to see if there was any more. I thought, from Deathmatching, he said he generally feels bad for the Wizards fans. I mean, in some ways, yeah. Leonardo mentions the Hornets. Hornets, I guess they have somewhat of a direction. Actually, no, they
Andrew
don't.
Kaz.
Oh, it meant the Pelicans.
No.
It meant the Pelicans. Okay.
Andrew Kaz said Poole, and honestly, I could have mentioned him. It felt like punching down. You know,
Jordan
Poole at this
Poole?
point. Yeah, at this point in his career.
Oh, wait a minute. Scroll up, Tanner.
Who are we looking for?
There was a Eddie Johnson shout out in the chat. Someone mentioned. Patrick Engineer mentioned Eddie Johnson. So Eddie Johnson actually does a show for PHNX or maybe for ALLCITY. So I'm actually coworkers now with Eddie Johnson.
Also, you're not gonna say anything bad about him?
No, he and I once
Okay.
had. He had a big problem with some things I had to say on Twitter back in the day.
Oh.
And he called me a bot. Like he would just reply.
What?
He would reply to my tweets like that I did not like talk about. I'm just living my life, and he would come in and just say like beep boop and stuff to me. It was really
Hey,
funny.
yo.
It was really funny. This was at the time whenever Rick went on that big rant about KP post ups and how like post ups are bad play.
Oh, I remember
And
that.
fans were real riled up because everyone's like, "You need to post him up. He's 7'3". You should
Didn't
post
Charles
up."
Barkley
I do
like go
remember
off
this.
at that point about that too?
Yeah. So I quote tweeted Rick, or I didn't quote tweet Rick. I quote tweeted the Rick quote, like the video of Rick's thing. And I said, like, this is actually true. Like the average post up player does this. Like it's just it is a losing play to post up if you're not really good at it, right? And it got retweeted a little bit because I used to have a Twitter following back in the day.
Go follow Bobby.
And it made its way
Yes.
to Eddie Johnson, and Eddie Johnson was saying like he just went on this thing about like you young kids and your calculators, like you guys don't know ball.
Hey,
you're just
yo.
a bot out here. And so I started responding to him like in binary code and stuff, and we had a nice back and
You
forth.
took it all the way there. Good for you.
Yeah, we had a nice back and forth. But this lasted for like a year and a half.
Year and a half?
This was during the 1920 season, and it went that we had interactions like before the Mavs and Suns played in the playoffs.
You and Eddie Johnson kept up with Twitter beef for a year and a half.
No, it was one-sided. There was no beef between me and Eddie
Did you
Johnson.
stop responding? At
I
some
responded to him the first time, and I was like, "No, man, this is just like it's just stats. Like teams talk about this. You know, you work for a team. You know the players are talking about it."
Yeah.
And he was like, "Bot, you're just a robot." And that's when I was like, "All right, beat boop. Like, sorry."
Body Corella.
Yeah,
That's
no,
what
it was epic. So I mean, I lived the whole thing out again on the Mavs streams whenever I was over there. It was a good time. But now I'm colleagues with Eddie. So Eddie, if you're watching, come on the show, man.
Make up with Bobby. Okay, let's
bury the hatchet.
Kumbaya.
We're
Yeah.
coworkers now, dude.
There was one more I wanted to make sure I read because he's right. Julius Randle, every time he comes to the AAC, kills the Mavs.
Oh yeah,
Every time.
That's a tough one.
Desmond Bane is another one.
That's a
we
tough
could just start naming random players that come to the AAC and kill the Mavericks every time. I think Desmond Bane takes it personal though.
I'm
every
mostly
time he comes
annoyed
here.
about Desmond Bane. I had nothing against the guy. I think he's probably a good dude, but I'm mostly annoyed that we have to hear he played at TCU. That's just right over there. Mavs didn't even scout him. I'm annoyed about that.
Dallas didn't even scout him.
Yeah, but it's also like I don't
Tip was
care.
like, actually,
Like I
they
don't
didn't.
care that Dallas didn't scout him. He went 30th overall. So 29 teams suck in the NBA, including I think Memphis had a pick before him anyway. So like
It was absurd he went that late.
yeah, it was absurd. Yeah, but like Memphis took Zaire Williams 9th in that draft. Maybe
Yeah.
they should have taken Desmond Bane 9th and not risked him falling. Like, does Memphis not believe in Desmond Bane? Like, who cares?
I mean,
Shut up. I don't want to hear about it anymore.
It was wild that they passed on Desmond Bane and Tyrese Maxey. The Mavs did.
The Mavs?
Yeah, they passed on both of them.
Yeah, I mean, Maxey was kind of understandable because they had Luka and JB.
True.
But, you know, it... Sure would be cool, wouldn't it?
It would be really cool. But hey, guess what? The Mavericks went to the finals last year, so it doesn't matter. We got Luka and Kyrie and Klay Thompson. Appreciate y'all joining us here on today's episode of DLLS Mavs. Again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to DLLS Sports on YouTube. Hit that like button if you're watching this video. Make sure you download and listen to the podcast as well, wherever you get your podcast for free. We'll be back next week. Mark Stein, he'll be joining us at some
Eddie
point.
Johnson hate. He's a good dude, probably.
Folks are jumping in the chat with all kinds of Eddie Johnson. Stop hating on Eddie Johnson. He's a teammate of ours now. But we'll be back next week here on DLLS Sports for all things DLLS Mavs. For Bobby Carella, Tim Cato, my name is Kevin Gray. We'll talk to you next week here on DLLS Mavs. Y'all be good. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.